A lot of people dream about retiring in Denver. And in fact, it's increasingly becoming one of the most popular places to retire. I mean, the mountains, the seasons, the classic Colorado lifestyle, it all sounds pretty incredible, right? But here's the truth. Actually, retiring here or moving here to Denver for retirement comes with some pretty big realities that most people don't think about. So that's what we're going to cover in this video. I'm going to break down why some retirees actually regret moving here, what you really need to watch out for, and then we'll cover what makes Denver absolutely unbeatable for most people. And hey, if you're new here, my name's Alex Saldana. I've been helping people buy and sell homes around the Denver metro area since 2010. I've seen it all: downsizers, relocations, people moving here for a dream, and sometimes moving out just a few years later. So if you want to make sense of what's going on in our Denver market, just feel free, give me a call, shoot me a text message below. Be happy to help you out, or scan this QR code, set up a time to chat with me. So getting right into it, number one, the elephant in the room: cost of living. All right. First reason you might want to not think about moving to Denver to retire is just the cost, right? And I know that's not groundbreaking news, but hear me out. Housing here is expensive. And as of this year, the median home price in the entire Denver metro area is hovering in the mid 600s. Now, that's down slightly from the crazy pandemic numbers of 2022, but it's still miles above most prices in the country. So, if you're coming here from somewhere like the Midwest or parts of the South where you're selling a house for say 400,000, it can be a real sticker shock to step into a $600,000 plus home here. Now, it's not just the purchase price here, right? Property taxes in Colorado do look really good on paper. We are the third cheapest in the country for property tax rates. But home values here are pretty high, which, if you're looking for $1 million plus home, yeah, it's going to be around $5,000 a month, depending. But compared to a lot of places, it's really not that bad. But you have to take this into account for whatever you're looking for, especially if you're looking for a new build property. That's where you've specifically got to look for special taxing districts where a $600,000 new build might be $8,000 to $10,000 in taxes in some areas. So it's really something you want to be on the lookout for. Plus, we do have higher sales taxes, and we do have rising costs for things like groceries, insurance, utilities. Now, I know that that's most of the country, right? But it all adds up, and we're already expensive. So if everywhere were to go up by 10%, because we're already expensive, that would actually be more dollars on paper out of your pocket, right? I've watched plenty of retirees move here thinking that their nest egg would stretch really far, only to feel squeezed once the bills actually start rolling in. Now, on to healthcare, something that everybody, as we start aging, really thinks about. Denver has phenomenal hospitals and specialists, some of the best in the world. You're going to get top tier care here, no doubt, but it isn't cheap, right? Premiums, out of pocket expenses tend to run higher than the national average, especially if you need regular specialist visits, prescriptions, procedures. It can catch you a little bit off guard. And that's one of those hidden costs here that rarely shows up in the glossy, move to Colorado articles that you see out there. Now, let's talk about something that most people do overlook, and that's the lifestyle versus the reality. So, if you are picturing yourself living in a charming, walkable little Denver neighborhood where you can take a stroll to a cafe, a brewery, or a grocery store, that definitely exists, but it comes with a serious premium. So we're going to look at places like, let's say, Wash Park, Platt Park, the Highlands, Lohi. All of these areas have these cute little charming downtown streets, a few blocks, restaurants, cafes, all that. But if you were to take a footprint of, let's just take Platt Park, and the median price might be in the 800s, right, in all of Platt Park. The closer you get to that downtown street, the more likely you're going to be in the mid 1 million mark, right? So if you want to be within a couple blocks to what you actually want, for the most part, you're going to pay for it. There's no getting around it pretty much anywhere neighborhood in Denver. And most of Denver, and certainly the surrounding suburbs, are pretty car dependent, right? You're going to be driving a lot. And traffic here, well, it has gotten worse. In the last decade, Denver's exploded in populations, but our roads haven't exactly kept up as much. Now, I will say I have some perspective here being from Chicago. And if you're from a big city, LA, New York, Chicago, Houston, you name it, right? You're going to have an idea of what traffic is. And people complain about the traffic here all the time. So I will tell you this honestly, if I was leaving my house at 4 o'clock on a Friday, the worst traffic you could possibly experience here, if I had to go 30 miles across town, the other side of the Denver metro area, I would plan on it being a 45-minute to an hour long ride. That's what it is. And if you're from a big city, you understand that that could be 2 to 3 hours in most other places. So perspective here is needed. But if you're coming from a small town, yeah, you are going to be stuck in traffic, even in the middle of the day, right? I just went and picked up my daughter from practice, and yeah, I was in traffic on I-25 at 10:30 in the morning, right? It does happen. So if you're dreaming of a retirement where like you can barely use a car, Denver might not deliver that for you unless you're going to be paying top dollars to live in the areas like Wash Park, the Highlands, or Cherry Creek. All right, so let's talk about one of my favorite things here, the weather. Everyone does talk about how much sun Denver gets at about 300 days of sunshine. And yeah, that's technically true. But not many people tell you that the sunshine can still mean 10 degrees and snow blowing sideways. And we really only have 1 to maybe 2 weeks of that, to be fair, throughout the year. Winters here are very unpredictable. Okay. One day it is 60 degrees and the next it dumps a foot of snow. And if you're coming from somewhere with milder winters or if snow and icy sidewalks are a concern for you, it's really worth thinking through. I mean, one of my last clients to move here from Hawaii, right? We were closing in the middle of November and we had a snowstorm come in and they were a little bit blown away. I ended up picking them up because I knew they only had a front wheel drive vehicle and they weren't ready for what we were about to get. And I'm glad that I did. And they just thought that this was more on the normal side. And I had to convince them, I had to look it up actually. It turned out to be the fifth largest snowstorm that we had ever gotten in any month period, let alone in November. And so you just have to be prepared for it, right? Fall and spring especially, when we start getting some hail, it can be extremely unpredictable. 80 degrees one day, 20 degrees the next. I'm not exaggerating that. That is a real thing. But overall, 30 degrees is still sweater weather. I love it. And 90 degrees, you can still go outside and do stuff because of how dry it is here with 15% humidity on average. Okay, so after all of that, why do so many people still actually love retiring here? Well, number one, the lifestyle is just incredible if you're active. Hiking, biking, skiing, golfing, it's all right here. And you've got the mountains less than an hour away, even if you're on the eastern side of town. If you're on the western side of town, it could be as little as 5 minutes away. We have world class resorts all around. Golf, skiing, especially, is 80 miles to the west. And if you're retired, not working Monday through Friday, it's only going to take you about an hour and 15 minutes to get to Breckenridge, A Basin, Loveland, Winter Park, Mary Jane. You've got your pick of the litter to get there. And then trails, right? We have placed a high priority here in the Denver metro area for trail access. Just south of Highlands Ranch, you have dozens of miles of trails. On the western side of town, you literally have the foothills right there. Northern side, eastern side, down all the way by Parker. Like there are trails everywhere around within 5 to 10 minutes of you, as well as all the biking trails that interweave throughout the city that go for dozens and dozens of miles as well. So we really place this priority on our Colorado lifestyle. And two, Denver just has an incredible culture here, okay? I'm a big believer in what you look for, you will find, and you will find your people here, right? Breweries, sports, concerts at Red Rocks. If you want your retirement to be more than just sitting at home, Denver is really tough to beat. Three, taxes actually aren't horrible when you start stacking them up to other incredible places to retire: California, New York, Illinois, especially if you're on a fixed income. You might benefit from how Colorado treats retirement income. And last, and maybe the most important thing, and I get this question all the time, it's about family visiting Denver. And yes, your family will love to visit Denver. In reality, maybe you already have one kid here that's about to have grandkids, and that's part of the reason for moving here. But then you got families scattered around throughout the country, right? Denver's an incredible place to visit. There's so much to do between skiing being an hour and a half to the west, camping galore, national parks, right? Rocky Mountain, Estes Park. You've got the great sand dunes down to the southwest of us here in Denver, all within a few hours. And it's just one of these places that people do want an excuse to come to. And I've had clients tell me, we moved here so the grandkids would visit more often. And you know what? It absolutely worked. But the bottom line is that Denver is not for every retiree, but if you value your lifestyle, if you value four distinct seasons and easy access to some of the best outdoor living in the country, it is unbeatable. And, if you are thinking about retiring here and want someone who will actually break it down, honestly, costs, neighborhood, even what you can expect to spend on snow tires. That's literally what I do all day, every day. Just shoot me a message, got my phone number below, or scan this QR code, and we can set up a time to chat. And, there are some places around Denver that are worth looking at that lots more people are flocking to, which is why I put this video together. And it's worth checking out to see if these are places that you should also consider or if the growth here should keep you away.